you'll have to probably restart your or refresh your screen in order to see it. Sometimes it crashes, usually only once at the beginning, so that's probably over with for now. Yeah, they have a nice pink glow to the clouds. Um, oops, I think I put some of the glow on the wrong layer. That does happen. Come over here. Can't have that on the reference layer. That would be strange. I come back in and outline these clouds and then add a little bit of that light blue glow. This actually feels like purple now. No, it's still blue. It's still blue. Light blue glow to these clouds, like the lights bouncing around on the inside of them. I really do feel like they're not quite light enough. I still want to keep them geometric though, so this isn't like, I can't do it randomly, otherwise the shape that I have already on it will break down a little bit. I'm gonna try to keep the transitions really smooth. I'm gonna turn off my reference photo for just a moment because I'm kind of doing the same thing over and over again on these clouds. The light I've decided is coming from this direction and down a little bit. The only thing that I haven't sort of made consistent with that is the fact that this dragon, his shadow is here because it felt really weird putting it here. It just didn't feel right. So right now the light is sort of coming from here, but is also sort of coming from this way. And it could be either, I think. I do need to decide just because I'm painting it. And if it's not consistent, it will start to look really strange. Usually, in my experience, what happens. I don't make a choice and then it looks really, really weird. Go edit erase this down, and it already feels a little bit better, a little more cloud-like. I think with the white bits, I didn't want to go probably as light because I'm used to straight white as being kind of a it almost makes it look less real. So I'm used to always kind of keeping it within this range right here, trying to get it not below 20% or 20%. Like if you imagine brackets, it's a median. I'm not very good with numbers, but it's a median thing. Not too close to white or black. About no less than no less than 20% white or 20% black. I'm gonna add a lot more white to this one too. Just foreground cloud. Shape of these clouds also is probably not quite right if you look at the reference, how they're blending together. I might need to add some clouds in the background behind them just to make them look more normal, because these puffy clouds don't seem to come in just one or two, one or two. They seem to come in like fields of fluffy clouds. So I will probably have to go in and edit behind, which will be a little bit weird. I might actually flatten it and then copy the background and then work behind that. I don't know. It's hard editing stuff behind things you've already painted and not having to redo all the edges. That's why planning is important. That's why I should have actually done a really tight line drawing before I started this. But hindsight's 2020, I guess, so can't do that now. Not unless I start over, which I might actually. I have a couple of other really nice pictures. I wanna do a painting of these clouds, of these clouds, and like put a castle or something sticking out of the clouds, so you're like above it. I think that would look really neat. But first I want to get this one finished because I've spent a lot of time on it and I enjoy it. And it's good practice. When I was in architecture school, even though we did technically restart projects all the time, like it almost felt like I was starting a new project every few days. Even during finals where you were going to present your project in a week's time, it felt like you were always starting over. My professor uh, told me that you don't actually start over. Even if you are building a new model, you're being informed by the old one. So I guess it's kind of like those Hearthstone games that you see pros play out even though they know they've lost because they want to understand what their opponent's deck is like. And this is kind of like that, where I am trying to figure out the problems with these clouds before I move on to some better clouds. Um, and I also really enjoy this blocky dragon. I usually don't draw them without feet. You know, I guess that makes them a wyvern, not a dragon. I but I kind of enjoy. He kind of looks like a chess piece or something, like a marble bust of a dragon. He doesn't quite look very dragony to me. I think that's great. Different. It's been a long time since I've drawn different dragons. I've gotten into kind of a habit. I used to draw dragons, like whole books of different types of dragons. That's something I enjoyed doing. Like I'm talking in like elementary school. This is something I enjoyed doing. And and these days I kind of get into the habit of one type of like this type of dragon with the pointy nose, and then it loops over, and he's got maybe a spiky head and a long neck, and these like long horns like that, and this eye, and I just I get used to this, and it's nice actually having a time where I was kind of forced to change it a little bit. I know he's still kind of like that, but not completely because he doesn't have the legs. His wings are curvier. I still have that weird triangle I put on all their tails. I feel like spikes would almost be more useful than triangles. Um, I didn't give him spikes though. I guess I could go in and re-edit him to add spikes, so he could bludgeon things with his tail. It's really important that all parts of the dragon be dangerous. Like that's just important for dragons to be really, really dangerous. Alright, so going back to this reference, whoops, this is what we've added, these light parts. I think that that's nice. I think it really does help them feel like clouds. And going back to the reference, the shadows are predominantly this color, and I'm not gonna go in and edit it to that color because I've already put in these sort of more brownish shadows that don't quite line up with this, I guess, purple. It's blue still. It's blue. Um, and it just wouldn't look quite right. But I can compare where it is like darkness level. So it's right here to what I have down, which is pretty much the same thing actually. Um, a little bit darker. My clouds have a little bit darker edges. That I think I'm not going to go in and edit too much. Just because I feel like it would throw off the color of the whole piece. So I guess the next thing that I could use this reference for and use it well, now that I didn't use it from the beginning, is I could probably go in and edit this texture on the inside of the cloud because it's got this fluffy edge on the outside like that. It comes in kind of like cotton candy. And it also has that fluffy edge on where the light spot meets the shadow, like right there. Um, and they're very, very soft. Like these edges, like this edge just drops off into nothingness, and then it picks up right back over here. I think that I really need to translate that into my clouds. So I'm going to turn off my dragons for a little bit while I um, edit these things. Maybe I'll make my clouds image a little bit smaller so I can look at it while I while I work. I could also probably use this as a photo texture, but I'm not super great with photo textures, so I haven't, where did my light part go? Is that the light part? Oh, wow, they were really dark, weren't they? Let me actually add a little bit more of the light to this edge right here. And right here. Oops. That's better. I could actually use a photo texture, but I'm actually I'm not very good with photo textures. They don't feel as convincing, even though they're the actual like texture of the cloud. They don't feel like clouds to me. So I'm gonna maybe look at some different texture brushes to see what I want with these clouds. At the edges. That's kind of there. I feel like that's kind of there. It's a little blocky. A little bit blocky. Whichever texture brush I pick, I probably have to use on all of the clouds just to make it feel consistent. Let's see. I could try this one. Oh no, that's not. That's like for rust. It's my rust brush. I don't know what this is. Very spiky, but it's not gonna work for me. They're dots. That's kind of neat. That's maybe for metal or snow. No, if we want to make it snowy. Probably not. Let's see. There is this spiky one. I don't think that's gonna. Yeah, that's not. I mean, I could see it working, but it's not there yet for me. It kind of looks like clouds. It's got like some hue and saturation differences in it. I don't really like it that much though. There is. This is like a fog brush. I like the fog brush. I don't know if it's a very exact, intentionally not exact. That kind of feels like the edge of the cloud, what it's supposed to look like. Maybe this will be the texture brush. Okay, I think this will be my texture brush. So we're gonna have this color come into the edge here where these two puffs are touching. Blend them together just a little bit with the texture brush. I don't want to use it everywhere because I do want some harder lines just because, I worked hard on them. I want them there in some places, but I can make the dark side and the light side really feel like they have these fluffy cotton candy bits on them. Important. The clouds closest to me, or closest to the dragon and the main character, they're going to probably have the most visible texture. I kind of like that. Let's see. Yeah, that looks more cloud-like. It really is less exact though. So I mean, I guess it depends on what I'm going for. I think that I like this better, even if it does look kind of smooshy. I do need to make sure I don't get too smooshy with it. These shapes will disappear if I don't try and maintain this sense of shape, the geometric shape I drew in them. I guess this one, that one. These things I've drawn before. So I don't want them to feel very flat, and I think it's very easy to make